Students, let's discuss our next topic, that is interconversion of Celsius scale into Kelvin and Celsius scale into Fahrenheit scale. So, all of you are aware that the SI unit of temperature is Kelvin, but there are three scales on which we measure the temperature, that is Celsius scale, Kelvin scale and Fahrenheit scale. So here are some of the formulas by which you can interconvert these scales. First one is degree Celsius into 9 upon 5 plus 32 is equals to degree Fahrenheit. So if you know the temperature in degree Celsius, you have to keep the temperature at that place, degree Celsius place, into you have to do multiply 9 by 5 plus 32 and then you'll get Fahrenheit. Then if you know the temperature in degree Fahrenheit, you have to subtract 32 from it and then multiply by 5 upon 9. So you'll get degree Celsius. Then if you want to interconvert Kelvin into degree Celsius and degree Celsius into Kelvin, then you have to apply the formula Kelvin temperature minus 273 will give you degree Celsius. Then if you are having temperature in degree Celsius, then add 273 plus 273, you will get Kelvin. Now our next topic is the difference between evaporation and boiling. So evaporation and boiling both comes in a particular topic, that is vaporization. So it is mainly dealing with the change of state from liquid to gas. So evaporation is that it takes place at all temperatures below the boiling point also, and boiling takes place at a particular temperature. If you take the example of water, you know the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, but water evaporates below 100 degrees Celsius. Then second point is evaporation is a surface phenomena, whereas boiling is a bulk phenomena. Here the evaporation is a process in which the water particles on the surface gets evaporated, taking the heat of sun, mainly sunlight, and whereas boiling is a bulk phenomena, therefore the particles present in the whole bulk will get the energy and they will all together will boil, whereas in evaporation only the surface particle will evaporate. Third point is it can take place naturally by solar energy. So evaporation takes place naturally also with the help of solar energy, whereas boiling can be done manually or artificially. Energy which is given, like you are boiling water in a pan, that is you are giving energy artificially or manually with the help of gas burner. Whereas in evaporation, the water present in lakes, ponds or other water bodies gets evaporated with the help of solar energy. So that is evaporation. Example is evaporation of water in a pond, sea or ocean or other such water bodies. And boiling example is boiling water at 100 degrees Celsius in a pan. So these are the points of difference between evaporation and boiling. Now coming to our next topic, that is factors affecting evaporation. Let me tell you something about effect of pressure on change in state also. You have gone through the effect of temperature on changing of state. That means temperature plays an important role in the interconversion of states of matter, that is solid, liquid and gas. So if we are increasing the temperature, solid changes to liquid and liquid to gas, whereas we are decreasing the temperature, then the gas will change into liquid and then into a solid. So we have gone through that things. Now there is a small topic, that effect of pressure is also there on changing of state. For example, if a gas is compressed, then we are pressurizing it. That means if we apply pressure on a gas, the particles of gas will come closer to each other and the kinetic energy of particles will decrease. so they gets compressed and they changes into a liquid. Hence you will get LPG, CNG gas, oxygen gas, liquid nitrogen gas or liquid ammonia gas. Then you can get solid CO2 also, that is dry ice. So LPG is liquefied petroleum gas, CNG is compressed natural gas. Both of these are filled in cylinders with the help of applying pressure on them. Then oxygen gas is also present in oxygen cylinders in hospital. Also, solid CO2 is known as dry ice because it is used as a coolant in cold storages. So the unit of pressure is atmosphere, ATM or Pascal. So now let's come to the next topic, that is the factors affecting evaporation. There are four main factors which affects the rate of evaporation. First one is surface area. On increasing the surface area, the rate of evaporation will increase. As we have discussed earlier that evaporation is a surface phenomena. So if we are increasing the area of the surface, exposed surface, then the rate of evaporation will increase. Whereas second point is humidity. The amount of water vapors present in the air is called humidity, and as the humidity increases, evaporation rate decreases. So, on increasing the surface area, the evaporation increases, whereas on increasing the humidity, the evaporation rate decreases. So, all of you have seen a simple example that if you are taking the tea or milk in a saucer and in a cup, the tea which is taken in a cup will cool faster rather than the tea which is taken in the saucer. So if we take the example of that, all of you have seen, if we keep the clothes for drying, then it dries faster on a hot summer day rather than on rainy days, because the humidity is more during rainy season or humid season, and it is less in summer season. Third one is temperature. As the temperature increases, the rate of evaporation will also increase. It is due to the reason that the kinetic energy of particles will increase. So if the water you want to evaporate, it will be more in summers, during summers rather than winters. And fourth one is wind speed. As the speed of wind increases, the rate of evaporation will also increase, because the wind will take more number of water vapors with it, so evaporation rate will increase, but the wind should be dry. If there is humidity in the wind, then the rate of evaporation will be affected, it will be less.